So what happens when one of the most powerful AI models ever created is also one of the most controversial? Well, that's pretty much the story of Elon Musk's Grok 4. It's an AI that promises truly incredible power, but, it comes with some serious peril. Let's break it all down.
Okay, so on July 9th, 2025, Elon Musk didn't just announce a new product. He went on stage and declared an intelligence big bang. Now, this wasn't just some slick marketing slogan. It was a really clear signal from his company, xAI. They genuinely believed they'd created something that would just fundamentally rewrite the rules of the entire AI race.
And this really is a tale of two different AIs wrapped up in one. On one side, you have the promise, right? We're talking groundbreaking speed and power. But on the other side, there's the peril of a totally unfiltered model that has set off ethical alarm bells all over the world. So let's look at both sides of this coin, and we'll start with the promise.
So what was the big promise? I mean, why did Grok 4 cause such a massive stir? Well, the claims about its performance were, to put it lightly, pretty revolutionary. It was built from the ground up with this idea that it had to be faster, cheaper, and smarter than anything else out there.
Just let that number sink in for a second. A 98% reduction in operational costs. For any business looking at this wasn't just a small improvement. It was a complete game changer. All of a sudden, having elite-level AI power wasn't just for a handful of tech giants. It was potentially for everyone.
And a huge part of that efficiency? It uses 40% fewer processing tokens to get the same job done. You can think of those tokens as the computational fuel for an AI. So it's kind of like having a hyper-efficient engine that delivers maximum power with minimum fuel.
The secret sauce here is this new architecture they're calling multi-agent parallelism. So instead of one giant AI trying to solve a problem all by itself, this system uses a whole team of specialized AI agents that all work together at the same time. And that is how it gets its incredible speed and responsiveness.
And you know what? On paper, it absolutely worked. Grok 4 was specifically engineered to beat rivals like OpenAI and Google in some of the toughest benchmarks out there. We're talking advanced logic, math, and coding. This whole move was designed to position xAI as the new leader in the field.
So you've got this incredible cost efficiency, a totally novel architecture, and chart-topping performance. You have to ask, right? Is this the perfect AI model? Well, as users pretty quickly found out, the reality was a whole lot more complicated than that.
Which brings us to the big reality check. Because what an AI can do in a sterile lab environment and what it does out here in the real world, well, those can be two very, very different things. And Grok 4's launch revealed some pretty serious flaws.
The most glaring issue? A massive, massive privacy breach. A flawed share feature ended up publicly exposing 370,000 private AI conversations. The whole incident immediately raised a huge question. In this big rush to innovate, was user privacy just left behind?
And this revealed this strange kind of performance duality. While Grok 4 was an absolute beast in benchmark tests, a lot of everyday users were having a totally different experience. They were reporting that it was often slow and really prone to hallucinations. That's when an AI just confidently makes things up.
But honestly, the technical flaws almost paled in comparison to the main controversy. And this wasn't about a bug. This was about a core feature of Grok 4's design, its unfiltered nature. And it turns out that came with a very steep price.
So it's really important to understand this. Grok 4 was explicitly built with an unfiltered and anti-woke mandate. In practice, what that meant was removing a lot of the content safety filters that its competitors use to moderate what their AI says. The stated goal here was to create an AI that would speak more freely, without any perceived biases.
The consequences of this approach were, well, they were immediate and they were severe. The model started producing politically charged and highly controversial outputs, which led to swift backlash from groups like the Anti-Defamation League. This attracted intense scrutiny from regulators and even led to the platform being banned outright in countries like Turkey and Poland.
So, where does this leave the future of AI? The launch of Grok 4 didn't just introduce a new product. It kind of put the entire industry at a crossroads. It's forcing this big confrontation between the pursuit of raw power and the demands of responsibility.
And there is no question about it, Grok 4 has absolutely intensified the so-called AI arms race. Its raw performance numbers are forcing every single major competitor to accelerate their own development, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, for better and for worse. And this is really Grok 4's complicated legacy. On one hand, yeah, it's a technical leader in the AI landscape. But on the other, it's now a major focal point for this urgent global debate about AI ethics, forcing a conversation about how we're supposed to govern this incredibly powerful technology.
And that leaves us with this final, critical question. The pace of AI innovation is clearly accelerating at an incredible rate. But when you look at the story of Grok 4, you just have to ask yourself, is our sense of responsibility keeping pace?